You ever walk into your own house and, no, instantly something's dead wrong? I'm not talking about that nagging, did I leave the oven on feeling, I mean full-blown blood-chilling wrong. That was me, 3 o'clock on a random Tuesday, arms full of groceries, sun in my eyes, standing there with my front door hanging open and muddy footprints on my spotless white carpet. I froze. Just stopped right there on the welcome mat, heart going full drum line. Because those weren't my prints and I live alone. Then clear as a bell, I hear drawers slamming upstairs, and this voice humming, not scared, not nervous, just humming away like she owned the place. You want a punchline? That was Karen? Yeah, that. Karen, our HOA president, inside my house, with her own damn key. I know how this sounds. But look, ever since I painted my front door midnight teal, instead of the blessed HOA-approved bland sand, Karen had been after me like it was her personal mission from God. Passive-aggressive notes. Fines, $250 here, a threat of a lien there. Your classic Karen starter pack, right? But this was a whole new level of nuts. Instinct took over. I started recording on my phone, groceries still dangling from my arm, and tiptoed up those stairs, heart in my throat, trying not to make a sound. The humming got louder coming from my bedroom. I peered around the doorframe and almost dropped my phone. There she was, Karen, in that infamous leopard print cardigan she probably thinks is a power move going through my dresser, like she was at a clearance sale. She'd wrapped one of my silk scarves around her neck. Had my grandmother's pearls, the ones I wore on my wedding day, vanishing into her massive Michael Kors tote. I kid you not. Karen. I finally croaked, my voice so shaky I barely recognized it. She whipped around, scarf fluttering, eyes wide for a split second. Then she squared her shoulders and gave me the kind of glare that says, I was the trespasser. Your house, she snaps. Like I was in the wrong. Your house, I yell back louder than I meant to. You're stealing from me. She clutches her bag like it's a baby and tries to barrel past. And that's when I see it, a shiny silver key, a copy of mine in her hand. I block the doorway. Where did you get that? I ask, barely breathing. Karen just smirks. Community property, sweetie. As HOA president, I have master access. Emergencies only. Yeah, emergencies like teal doors threatening civilization. She makes a break for it, swings the tote at my head, full wind-up like she's channeling Serena Williams. We struggle. She shoves me so hard I smack into the wall, then she's off. Heels clacking down the stairs, screaming over her shoulder. You assaulted me. I'm calling the police. I'm right behind, still recording, yelling, you just robbed me, you psycho. She almost gets to the front door, but I beat her there, slam it shut, deadbolt. It finally one lock she doesn't have. She starts pounding from the inside, shrieking about false imprisonment and lawsuits. I just hit 911, voice shaking, as I tell the dispatcher the HOA president broke into my house and tried to take my stuff. And then total silence. Karen hears the word stolen, and suddenly it's like a curtain drops. 10 minutes later, 2 patrol cars come screaming up, lights flashing. Karen's crying by then, trembling lip, and everything playing for the Oscars claims she was doing a welfare check because, and I quote, anyone who paints their door teal is clearly unstable. Cops ask for the key. She hesitates, then hands it over like it's no big deal. Officer tries it. Door unlocks, smooth as silk. That's when her act just evaporates. They dump out her tote on my dining table. My pearls, 3 pairs of earrings, the Rolex my husband gave me for our 10th, even a pair of Victoria's Secret underwear she apparently couldn't resist. I just stand there shaking while they bag it all for evidence. Karen keeps muttering, misunderstanding. I have authority. But when the officer reads her rights, you should have seen her face. Hearing those cuffs snap on her wrists as she wailed about HOA immunity was, I swear, the single most satisfying sound I've heard in years. And then the plot twist. When the officers searched her car, they found a key ring, duplicates to at least a dozen other houses. She'd been doing this for months. Nobody had a clue. Neighbors gathered phones out like it was some kind of block party. Someone brought popcorn. Karen shrieking, "This is persecution." I'm an elected official, but when they try to put her in the squad car, she just collapses, crying about her blood pressure. I thought that was the end. I was wrong. 2 days later, still shaken, changing every lock I own, and my doorbell camera goes off 2 a.m. It's Karen out on bail, same leopard cardigan, holding a manila folder, grinning like she's selling cookies. I don't answer. She slides the folder through the mail slot and whispers to the camera, "You'll want to see this before you ruin my life, sweetie." Inside photos, dozens of them. Me sunbathing topless in my own fenced backyard, my husband kissing me goodbye, my teenage daughter changing in her room, curtains open once. Karen had been watching us for months. And not just us. There was a printed log color-coded titled "Property Violations and Moral Infractions." Red pen. Little judgments. Topless 2:22 p.m. Indecent exposure. Daughter's shorts. Delinquency. I almost puked. Next morning, the HOA calls an emergency meeting to discuss possible legal action against resident for defamation. Translation: circle the wagons around Karen. Half the board still worshipped her property values and all that. I show up, folder in hand, lawyer on speed dial. Karen walks in like nothing happened, fresh highlights. Starbucks totally unbothered. She takes the podium and I swear launches into a 10-minute speech about how I framed her, how the key was standard HOA procedure, how I must have planted the jewelry. Then she drops a bomb, claims the duplicate keys were authorized in 2018, though nobody can find any record of it. Some people nod. A couple clap. I lose it. I dump the photos on the table. Silence. One grandma gasps so loud her dentures click. Karen just smiles, says, "Taken from public sidewalks. Maybe close your curtains if you don't want the neighborhood to see your lifestyle." That's when Mrs. Lopez stands up, face white as a sheet, pulls out her own envelope. Turns out Karen had been blackmailing her for 2 years over an affair. Mr. Patel chimes in. Karen threatened his in-laws' visa status if he didn't pay special assessments. One by one, 8 neighbors, 8 stories. Karen had a whole cabinet of secrets and a key ring that opened half the street. Suddenly, those clapping before, now they're yelling for her head. Karen tries to bolt. 2 dads block the door. Someone calls detectives right there. By the time the same officers show up, half the neighborhood is pressing charges. Karen's mask finally cracks, hyperventilating, then screaming, "We're ungrateful peasants, that without her we'd live in a ghetto." They cuff her again, second time in 3 days. She looks me dead in the eye, hisses, "This isn't over. I still have copies." I barely slept that night. Every creak sounded like a key turning. Then 1:47 a.m. My phone buzzes, a photo of me sleeping taken from the foot of my bed, timestamped 20 minutes ago. I'm a lone husband out of town, daughter at a sleepover. I call 911 before I can even breathe. Cops arrive, same 2 as before. We search the house. Nothing. But the front door's still triple locked from the inside. Then they find it, a brand new nanny cam, tiny, tucked into a smoke detector above my bed. No memory card, live streaming. With a warrant, they log into the app. Guess who registered the account? Coventry Lane Property Standards, Karen's personal Gmail. 14 other live feeds, bedrooms, bathrooms, even a teenager's shower. Years of footage stored on a private server in her garage. That's when it goes federal. FBI Sunrise Raid. Karen answers in a silk robe, coffee in hand, like it's just another Tuesday. They find the server, 3 laptops, a fireproof cabinet, hard drives labeled by address. Mine says 314 ongoing compliance issues. Over 4,000 photos, 189 videos of my family dating back 3 years. But here's the real twist when they interrogate her. Karen just shrugs, perfectly calm. She says she started 12 years ago after her husband left. First, it was fines and notes. Then she discovered secrets were better than bylaws. Cameras went in as a security upgrade she pushed through. Most neighbors said yes, free camera. Why not? What nobody knew, each had a hidden second lens feeding straight to Karen's basement. If you paid extra donations, your dirt stayed buried, your stuff came back. If you fought her, she escalated. My pearls, punishment for the door. The Rolex, the underwear trophies from people who'd already surrendered. She wore them like medals. When asked why she risked coming back after her first arrest, Karen just smiled. Nobody ever believes the crazy HOA lady is actually crazy. They think it's just bylaws and Christmas lights. That's how I lasted 12 years. Now she's in federal custody, no bail. 47 counts wiretapping, stalking, theft, computer fraud. You name it. Half the neighborhood's in therapy. 3 marriages imploded from her blackmail stash. 1 family moved out overnight, left the furniture behind. The HOA dissolved itself. We're all changing locks, ripping out smoke detectors, closing curtains. Some folks egged her house, but most of us just drive by in silence, wondering how many nights she watched us sleep. I keep a baseball bat by the bed. And here's the kicker. FBI found a second login on her server. Someone else had remote access. They still haven't figured out who. So if you ever think it's a good idea to let your HOA president have a spare key or install those free cameras, run. Some Karens don't want better lawns, they want control. They'll take your house key, your secrets, your peace of mind. One duplicate at a time. So yeah, stay safe out there. And for the love of sanity, paint your door whatever color you damn well please. Life's too short for beige. If you got a kick out of this story, go ahead, smash that subscribe, ring the bell. And tell me down in the comments, do you think Karen got what she deserved, or does the punishment never fit the crime? Or better yet, share your own HOA war stories. Let's keep the conversation going. I'll see you in the next one, where I promise justice tastes even sweeter.